So we already mentioned group 0 briefly, and we'll look at it in a bit more detail now. So group 0 is also called group 8. It's this group over here, this last one over here. And the one thing group 0 or group 8 all have in common is they all have a full outer shell. And in most cases, that means that they have 8 electrons on the outer shell. Okay, so remember to fill up the shells most of the time you need 8 electrons. And the exception here is helium. And this is because it does have a full outer shell, but because helium only has 2 electrons in the first place, it only fills up the first lowest energy level, the first shell, and therefore only needs 2 electrons to fill it up. But the fact is they all do have full outer shells. And this means they tend to be very, very unreactive, and they don't tend to form molecules very easily. Okay, so you can see these are very unreactive. And if you try to react them, it's very difficult to react them, okay? But if they were to react, they would form molecules. And the reason for that is linked to the fact that they have full outer shells. Because they have full outer shells, it makes them very, very stable, okay? So you can say here, this leads to basically stability. And when an atom is stable, essentially, it's not going to react very easily. Unstable atoms react more easily. They want to gain an electron to form a full outer shell, so they're more willing to react, if you like. In that respect, they all share the similar property of being quite unreactive, and that is due to the number of outer shell electrons they have. They all have full outer shells. And actually we can look down the group. So looking down the group itself, what we notice is a trend that the boiling point tends to increase. And this is because actually the atoms get heavier, and so the boiling point increases because the atomic weight actually increases as well. So when you have these heavier atoms, they tend to be larger, and as a result, due to the forces involved when you have larger atoms, the boiling point tends to actually increase the larger those atoms get. Okay, so that's a few things you need to know about group 0, and let's have a go at a few questions. Quick little true or false to see what you remember. Feel free to pause the video and have a go. Let's go through the answers now. Question 1 then, or it's the only question, true or false. All elements in group 0 have 8 outer shell electrons. This is false. Most of them have 8 outer shell electrons. Remember, helium has 2 outer shell electrons. What they do all have in common is they all have a full outer shell. The second statement then, elements in group 0 are very reactive. This again is very false. Elements in group 0 are very unreactive, the complete opposite. And the last statement, going down the group, the atomic weight decreases and boiling points increase. Well, this bit is true. The boiling points do increase when you go down the group, but the atomic weight doesn't decrease. The atomic weight actually increases. So this is not correct. And we'd actually say that this is false as well. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense, and I'll see you in the next one.